growth cycles, massively important when we did our clinical study. And any clinical study worth its weight in any validity is for 3 to 6 months. That's because of the hair cycle growth.
I would like to point out
Yeah.
that all of our growth factors with KeraFactor, KeraVive,
Yeah.
they bring your hair into the anagen phase.
Love it.
And then elongate that
Love
phase.
that.
So you will notice after maybe more like 90 days, then when you get to about 120 days and throughout your treatment, your hair just starts growing quite rapidly.
Love it. 120 days. Love that.
It takes
That's
about
awesome.
90
Around
days
90.
to start to see a difference because
Yeah.
you've got to get it from the telogen phase
Right.
into the anagen phase.
Right.
And then you're just starting to see tiny, tiny, tiny hairs
Yes,
pop
those
up.
others are.
And then
Yeah.
once you're into that second 3 months, then you start to see those tiny, tiny, tiny hairs really rapidly
Love it.
start to grow.
Love that. Super important for those of you who maybe studied or trained with hair removal, laser hair removal. So every time I'm like, raise of hands, you know, the anagen, catagen, telogen, anagen kind of process. And for those of you who have studied hair removal, you obviously know that because that's an important part. So Penny, did you want to
Yeah, I was just going to say that is one of probably out in the field as a BDM. That's one of the most often asked questions is when are we going to begin to see results?
Yeah.
And so I always tell them I have some, which you'll see on my before and afters coming up, who see results within a month. But typically we do want to wait that 90 to 180 days to really see. I usually tell them between 4 to 6 months, you'll really see a huge difference.
Once in a while, you do get those, I call them rapid responders.
Yeah.
I never like to set that as the expectation.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
we do have some before and afters where like one treatment made a world of difference.
And one treatment means 30 days
to that patient. But really around treatment 3, 4, that's where the patient's seeing it, the provider's seeing it. A lot of times with the patient might be the last person to really see the difference because they're looking at their self in the mirror every single day and that hair grows ever so slowly. I wish we could speed this hair life process up a bit. So you have to take photos. I always talk about the power in photos. Take that before photo. At that 90 days, the providers that will actually start to see the difference is the physician, the esthetician, or even the hairdresser at that time. And then at that 120 days, that's where everyone's now a believer.
Love it.
The patient's seeing it, the provider's seeing it. And I do notice that once the patient starts to really believe in the treatment, their hair starts to even grow faster.
I believe
thicker,
it.
stronger, more hair per follicle.
Let's think about that.
It brings down the stress level.
It brings down your cortisol and brings down the stress level. There's something about that. Absolutely. I love that. Because stress also, by the way, can cause, and we're going to see on a slide coming up, telogen effluvium when you stress. And we'll talk about that in a minute, but I love that. I bet you do too, Penny. It's like believe in the, the hair growth and it just creates this whole wonderful biological feel, right? Like your body feels good, your mind feels good and create good processes. So I love that. So KeraVive does support natural hair growth in every one of those cycles we talked about.